Good morning, students. Welcome to PNMRC e-learning classes. Students, this is the fourth part of chapter number 13, Why Do We Fall Ill? Students, we will start our video with the topic infectious agent. Organisms that can cause diseases are classified in a wide range of categories. Some of them are viruses, some are bacteria, some are fungi, and some are unicellular animals, the protozoans. Some diseases are also caused by multicellular organisms such as different kinds of worms. Common examples of disease caused by viruses are the common cold, influenza, dengue, fever, and AIDS. Disease such as typhoid fever, cholera, tuberculosis, and anthrax are caused by bacteria. Many common skin infections are caused by different kinds of fungi. Protozoans cause many familiar diseases such as malaria and Kala Azar. Worms tend to cause a variety of intestinal infections and elephantiasis. Students, as you know, all viruses live inside host cells, whereas bacteria very rarely do. Viruses, bacteria, fungi multiply very quickly, but worms multiply very slowly in comparison. These common traits means that many biochemical processes inside their cell are similar. As a result, drugs that block one of these biochemical mechanisms in one member of the group will be effective against many other members of the group. However, the same drug will not work against a microbe belonging to a different group. For example, antibiotics commonly block biochemical pathways important for bacteria. Therefore, most broad spectrum antibiotics work against many species of bacteria rather than simply working against one. Since viruses do not use these pathways at all, that is why antibiotics do not work against viral infection. For example, if we have a common cold, taking of antibiotics does not reduce the severity or duration of disease. Instead, our body secretes an antiviral protein called interferon to combat the virus of cold. However, if we get a bacterial infection along with the viral cold, then taking antibiotics will help. In that case too, the antibiotics will work against the bacterial part of infection, not the viral infection. Now students, our next topic is means of spread of infectious diseases. Infectious diseases spread from one infected person to another normal person by various methods. First method through which they spread is airborne diseases. Example is common cold, pneumonia, and tuberculosis. Such disease causing microbes are spread out through air. The transmission of these microbes occur through the little droplets coughed out by an infected person who sneezes or coughs. A person in the vicinity of such a person can inhale these diseases causing microbes and may become infected. And student, such thing happens in COVID-19 also. See students, This diagram shows potential risk of getting air transmitted disease as we move closer to the infected person. In closed area, the droplet nuclei recirculate and pose a risk to everybody. Thus, overcrowded and poorly ventilated housing is a major factor in the spreading of airborne diseases. From this diagram, student, you can get the idea how airborne diseases spread. Another method through which disease spread is waterborne disease. Example is cholera. Infectious disease can also spread through water. These occur when a stool from someone suffering from an infectious gut disease such as cholera or amoebiasis get mixed with the drinking water used by people living nearby. The cholera infested bacteria can enter new host through the water they drink and can cause disease in them. Another one is sexually transmitted disease. Example is syphilis and AIDS. Both of these pathogens are transmitted by sexual contact from one partner to the another. However, such sexually transmitted diseases are not spread by casual physical contact. Casual physical contacts include handshakes, hugs, sports such as wrestling, or by any of the other ways in which we touch each other socially. Another method is formite bone disease. Articles coming in contact with patient act as source of infection. Example, doors handles, taps, garments, currency, utensils, crockery, etc. And fifth method through which disease spread is spread of disease through vectors. Many animals which live with us may carry diseases. These animals can transfer infecting agent from a sick person to another potential host. Thus, these animals act as intermediaries or vectors. Vectors are carrier of a disease or infection. Mosquitoes are vector of a disease called malaria. In many species of mosquitoes, the females need highly nutritious food in the form of blood in order to be able to lay mature eggs. Hence, they feed on many warm-blooded animals including humans. Students, watch this picture very carefully. This picture shows common methods of transmission of diseases. Students, this is a table that shows common human diseases transmitted by insects. First one is Anopheles mosquito. Anopheles mosquito spread malaria. Second one is Culex. It spread filariasis. Third mosquito is Aedes mosquito. Aedes mosquito spread yellow fever, dengue and filariasis. Second insect is flies. First one is housefly. Housefly spread typhoid, diarrhea, dysentery, tuberculosis, conjunctivitis, it is an eye disease, and cholera. Second fly is sandfly. Sandfly transmit disease like Kala Azar, oriental sore. Third fly is TZ fly. TZ fly spread sleeping sickness. Second vector is louse. Louse spread epidemic typhus. And third vector is a rat flea, and rat flea spread disease like bubonic plague. Now we will talk about symptoms of disease. Under that, first point is point to entry the place of infection of microbe inside human body. Our body is quite large in comparison to any type of microbe. So there are many possible areas or organs or tissues within our body where microbes may reside. Different species of microbes appear to have evolved to move to different parts of the body. In part, this selection is related to their point of entry. For example, if the microbes enter from the air via the nose, they are likely to go to the lungs. This happens in case of bacteria, which causes tuberculosis, that is TB of lungs. If the microbes enter through the mouth, they can stay in the lining of the gut, as do typhoid causing bacteria. These microbes can also go to the liver, like the viruses that cause jaundice, that is hepatitis B. However, this pattern is not followed by all microbes. For example, infection of HIV takes place via the sexual organs, but it tends to spread to lymph nodes all over the body. Likewise, malaria causing protozoans enter through the mosquito bite, but it first goes to liver cells and then to red blood corpuscles, that is RBCs. Similarly, the viruses causing Japanese encephalitis or brain fever enter through a mosquito bite, but it goes to infect the brain. Our next topic is symptoms and signs. Symptoms are evidences that point to the presence of diseases. They are visible in the form of structural and functional changes in the body or body parts. They indicate that there is something wrong in the body. On the basis of symptoms of a disease, physicians search for definite clues or signs of the disease. For this, they use certain instruments and conduct laboratory tests to pinpoint the cause of the disease. Students, this table shows the difference between symptoms and signs. You must copy this in your notebook. First difference is they indicate it means symptoms indicate the presence of disease, and signs they provide information about the presence of particular disease. Second difference is under symptoms, symptoms are collective indication of a number of disease in a particular part or organ. And second difference of signs is they are distinct for different disease. Students, I end my video here only. Thank you for watching. We will meet again with some interesting topics about this chapter. So, up till then, thank you and goodbye.